Hi guys, welcome to another video. In this video I am going to show you two ways to make a welt pocket. One is going to be double welt pocket and the other welt pocket with flap. Now let's get into the tutorial. This right here is going to be my pocket bag and it is on fold. The length is about 8 inches and the width is about 7.5 inches. Now you can also make this 6 inches depending on how wide or small you want your pocket bag to be. And these little pieces right here is what I am going to use to make my welt pockets, and the width is about 7.5 inches, which matches right with my pocket bag, and the length is about 2.5 inches, and two of them are about the same measurements. Now also make sure you iron your interfacing at the back. As you can see, I used soft stay interfacing. Next thing you're going to do right now is to fold over about 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch, which is about 2 centimeters at the back of your tape roll. Now I am going to measure about 0.3 inches, which is about 1 centimeter behind your tape roll. Now I am going to measure this 1 centimeter on the folded edge of my fabric. Once I am done, I will make my stitches on this line, and I will also do the same for this other piece. Now, I am going to mark a guideline on my fabric, and on this guideline, I am going to lay my pockets. Now the opening of my pocket is going to be 5.5 inches, but normally it's supposed to be 5 inches, but because I have big hands, I would make mine 5.5 inches. Now remember that 1 centimeter mark we took on this folded fabric before we stitched on it. Now we're going to place that 1 centimeter on here at the bottom part. Okay, I am going to go on and change this chalk to a marker so you all can see what I am doing. Now as you can see, I am just measuring the 1 centimeter down, and I am also going to measure the 1 centimeter upwards. From the middle line, just measure the 1 centimeter. Now mark 1/2 inch right here and also mark 1/2 inch right here. Now I'm just going to connect this line from this edge to this, like this. Just make a triangle shape like this. This is going to serve as a guideline to lay the welt pocket perfectly. Now bring in your pocket pieces. Now we're going to fold it over like this. Place it on the center line and just retrace the lines just like I am doing. Now I will just pin this down. Next thing you're going to do now is mark 1 centimeter upwards from the center line. Now you're going to do very much the same thing to the other pocket piece. Now I'll first retrace my lines, and I'm also going to take same 1 centimeter inch from the center line. Now the next thing you need to do is you're going to make your stitches from here to here and also from here to here. Now whatever you do when making your stitches, make sure you do not go above that pocket piece fold. Now you can see the back. You can see how my stitches at the back match. Now next thing I am going to do is to retrace that 1/2 inch mark and also the triangle mark. Now, next thing we're going to do right now is we're going to cut open the center line. Just fold it over like this and give your fabric a snip, and now just cut. Now when you cut, make sure you stop around this 1/2 inch mark. Now you're going to follow that triangle guideline mark. And make sure when you cut, stop around like 0.1 before your stitch. As you can see, I didn't cut right through my stitches. Just stop around like 0.1 close to your stitch. Now I'll go on and cut the other one. Now that I am done cutting, I'm just going to go on and put everything on the inside. Once everything is done, we're going to grab this little triangle piece and we're going to stitch it to this, and we're also going to do the same thing to this part. Now I am going to show you how I do mine. This way you won't have any folds around your pocket piece. Now how I do mine is, when I want to sew, I pull this forward a little bit, and once I pull it forward, I pull this piece backwards a bit like this. Now I would then go on and make my stitches, and this way once you're done you won't have any folds. Now let's make the stitches and I'll show you. Now you can see there are no folds around my pockets, and this is what the inside is looking like. The key to doing this is you need to just pull it very gently. Don't apply any force to it. Now we are just going to go on and do the same thing on this other triangle little piece, and you're just going to pull very gently and also pull this backwards very gently, and we're going to make our stitches. Now grab your pocket bag and we're going to stitch this edge. We're going to join this edge to this, and we're going to join this edge to this. Now I am just going to go on and join this together, good size together, and stitch. And I'm also going to do the same for this one. Join the good size together and stitch. Now as you can see, the sides of our pocket is open, and now we need to close the sides up. And now our pocket is ready and done, and you can do this for your trouser, you can do this for your jacket, you can do this for anything at all you want to add your double welt pocket piece to. As you can see, it's looking all nice and perfect, and this is really easy to make. And now we will move on to the next tutorial, where I would show you how to add flap to your double welt pocket, which is also very easy. And the first thing you need is your pocket bag, which is the same thing as the length and width of the one we used earlier on. And this piece of fabric right here is going to be my flap, and I ironed interfacing on one side of the fabric. Now I would show you the measurements of this fabric. The length of this fabric is about 4.5 inches. Now to get the width, measure your double welt pockets, the width of your double welt pockets, which is 5.5 inches. Now I will place that mark on this fabric. Now the length I want for my flap is going to be 3 inches, and I am going to be marking 1 inch at the bottom part for seam allowance at the bottom, and I'm also going to add 1 inch right here for seam allowance. Now just cut this out. Now if you want your flap to have curve, fold your fabric over the way I just did and create a little curve right here and cut this out. Now this is totally optional. If you want yours to have a sharp edge, you can just leave it straight as it is, but if you want it to have sharp curve, you can just do what I just did. Now I am going to go on and mark my 1/2 inch seam allowance all around this, and which is also going to serve as my guideline to sew. And depending on the shape you want your flap to be, you can go on and make any shape you want right now and follow the guideline and stitch. Now I am done stitching. I'll go on and nip all around the stitches, and once I am done making the notches, I'll just cut off the excess. Now I will just turn this fabric out so as to have the good size to work with. Now as you can see, we have our little flap right here. Now next thing you need to do is get your pockets and put this inside of your pockets. Now as you can see, I have that 1 inch allowance I placed on the bottom part of my flap, and we're going to join this right now to this. We're going to join it to this. And now that we are done doing that, you can see how perfect and nice this is looking already. And now we're just going to go on and make a top stitch around those corners. Now this is totally optional. You can decide to skip this part. Doing this helps to lay the flap very nicely, and it is best to use a color of thread that matches your welt pocket, but in this case I used a red thread so you all can see what I am doing. And now as you can see, we are done laying the stitches, and now you're going to grab your pocket bag and we're going to join the ends of the pocket bag together to this, and we're also going to join the pocket bag together to this, and we're going to close up the edges just like we did while making the double welt pockets. And now as you can see, I have done just that, and our pocket is ready, and you can see how nice this is looking already. And you can even wear this in 2 ways. You can always put it inside and just imitate a double welt pocket, or you can as well bring it out and have a welt pocket with flap. And this is very, very easy to make. And here guys is our welt pocket, and we are finally done with this tutorial. Thank you guys for watching. Do subscribe to my channel for more exciting tutorials you would love, and hope to see you in more exciting tutorials like this. Bye. See ya.